What is happening, fellow fantasy DMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
What is up, JJ Wang? We have started week 2. We're getting it started with a strong game, and we're ready to move on into the main slate. How you doing tonight or this morning as you're listening, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thought I was going to have some computer issues, but I think I finally got it worked out. My technology on this end isn't the best, but I'm going to work my way. I'm going to work my way through it. See what happens.
I had a whole segment prepared to talk about how dedicated you were to record this on your phone. And now we
Yeah.
can move on and do something more important, like checking out the Fantasy Couriers on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Put some comments here on YouTube. You can email us, thefantasycouriers@gmail.com, or check out our website, thefantasycouriers.wixsite.com/website. What's really cool about that, every time it pops up, I get a little phone message saying where we get places from, where somebody texts jumps on from, and it gives me places I've never heard of. I'm like, where's that in America? So it's kind of cool to see, and I'm learning where different places are just from people jumping around. So leave a message on there. We haven't gotten any messages on the website for a while. We would love to have them. We're also trying to get 50 subscribers for September. We're halfway through. I think we're still stuck at 39. Come on, friends. All you got to do is
10
go to
more.
YouTube and click the subscribe button. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure to like us there, wherever you listen to it on, so that we can just continue growing our audience and people will see what you like, and it can help to spread the great news of the Fantasy Couriers. So where are we heading this week, JJ Wang?
So we're going to start with the last night's game. Pretty entertaining. It started off looking like the Giants were going to run away with it. Redskins defense wasn't looking too good, but they finally settled in after about the I don't know third or fourth drive. Skins started settling in. Like I said, it was a pretty good game. Some pretty fantasy relevant things happened there. Definitely surprised. Daniel Jones played really well. I mean,
Ooh-wee.
he was running the ball all over the place, breaking off like chunks at 10 yards here, 15 yards there. I think he almost
Yeah.
had almost had 300 yards passing, didn't he? He's like 275, 260,
Yeah,
something
it
like
was,
that.
it was quite
But
impressive.
yeah, like
The
I
full
mean,
stat line
if he
of
can
his.
get anywhere near that every week, you're not. I mean, of course, I don't think the rushing is going to be like that every week, but I mean, he might be a startable quarterback every week if he can play like that.
You don't even need him to be a quarterback this week. He had 95 yards rushing. So with that,
Turning into Lamar Jackson out there.
oh goodness gracious, it was crazy. He had 249 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. That's the
Yeah.
key for Danny Dimes. No fumbles for Danny Dimes, and he just
That's the key right there. No turnovers. Like talent's never been the issue. It's always been the fumbling and the interceptions.
so yeah. I almost have a team where I'm setting on Watson, and I know I shouldn't because we have quarterback limits. So I can only keep three, and Danny Dimes is sitting there. I think I'm going to lose the waiver claim next week. Dag nabbit. But yeah, he looked quite impressive last night. Now, one of my notes I put is both teams looked good or both teams looked bad. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could go either way because you don't know like their teams if just two bad teams beating up on each other. I mean somebody's got to win. But like I said, both quarterbacks played well. Even Heineke played really well. I
Oh,
mean he had over 300 yards. He was able to
336.
yeah maneuver around back there, scramble a little bit. I mean there was one play where he took the sack and ran back like 20 yards. And I was like, just get rid of the ball. But other than that, I mean, I think he looked pretty impressive being only his third start.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and Terry McLaurin is
Yeah,
the man. He
yeah,
is.
we knew he was going to be good and doing his thing. Like we were both high on him coming into it.
I was high on him coming to the year because of Fitzpatrick. I thought he would be good without Fitzpatrick, but he looks like he might hit Jeff's bold prediction and be one of those top tier receivers. I mean, 14 targets, 11 for 107. He looked to the comp for me right now would be Keenan Allen last year with Herbert, like how he just peppered him and peppered him. 14 targets. The next closest, Humphreys had 8. Can you believe that? Adam Humphreys had 8 targets.
I mean, I can't believe Humphreys is still playing. You know,
Yeah.
I just it's like he's just that guy that just hangs around. He's just that guy that's going to hang around for 15 years. Yeah. And then what do you think about Saquon? How do you think Saquon did last night? I know you kind of
I bet
positive on him in the reviews there.
so. I have him on one of my dynasty teams, and I benched him. Luckily, I have the plethora of talent that I can
Yeah,
bench him.
that's
Like
true.
most
That's
people can do not have that to do. And I think I texted you saying, "Should I bench Saquon this week?" You're like, "I think so." And I think it was the right choice, obviously, because he only had he had only had he had 57 yards, even though most of them were on 141
yeah.
yard dash. He's he's getting target. He got 3 targets, so it's I see him getting his legs. I got to decide if I'm going to start him next week, but he's making steps, and that's what they were going to say anyway. I mean, Saquon Barkley, probably you could think of him if they had the team running perfectly, it would get carries like Derrick Henry because you gotta feed him like Zeke.
Yeah.
You gotta feed him to get him to go, and 13 carries won't do it. 13 carries for, I mean, he had a 4.4 average, so it's not horrible, but I think you still got to wait. October is where I'm looking. I think October, as scary as it sounds for my team, luckily I'm in a good place. But October is when I'll be confident putting him back in. Maybe I put him in next week. I'm not sure. Like I put him in last week and I paid for it. This week I only would have got what 5, 6, 7 points or so for him in half point PPR. So it's good not to start him.
Yeah, I mean
But
that
it
like
wasn't
that
bad.
that that was a good move. I mean, like I said, it was a bold move. Most people don't have that luxury to um sit Saquon. I mean, that's kind of it's a top pick. It's hard to do, especially in week two. I mean, it's pretty much saying you're already giving up, or you're already giving up on him if you're not
Well,
starting
it's
him.
not. It's not. It's saying what has been told before the season was that Saquon was going to need 3 weeks to get his legs under him because he really. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. He didn't get that surgery until October, I think it was, because of was inflammation or something within the knee, which delayed the surgery. And was he the one that they had to go back into it?
I'm not. I can't answer that one. I don't
I
want to
was trying
give.
to think, but I mean, there was something wonky. No, that was Alex Smith, but there's something. It was delayed because of some of the swelling. So that delay put him back on recovery time from what a standard back would be. He's not Adrian Peterson. He's not a cyborg. He's got those thighs that could wring our necks. But another guy that looked pretty bad, and I didn't even realize this part though. 8 targets, 3 receptions, 38 yards for big money Kenny Galladay. I did. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I wasn't a high on him coming in. Just don't think that offense is geared towards his kind of play. I don't. That
Yeah,
8 targets is good, but the 3 catches for 38 yards. I think last week he was pretty much. I think he had like 48 yards, 50 yards, something like that.
68. It was better last. He had 64 last week, four
64.
catches, but they're not going to him in the end zone, which was one of the odd things for me. I mean, that was the purpose you got him. That's why he's called Baby Megatron. Like he's supposedly the guy you're going to go to in the end zone and not even looking his way. I think there was one or two play, not, but it wasn't as intentional as it really should be. If I got a giant tall guy that I paid, I'm going to make him earn his money, especially if I know my team's not going to see what I got there so you can get out from under the mess. But there wasn't even really a try. It didn't seem like there was just with the quick eye test. But that game was a lot more entertaining than I thought. My big takeaway goes with yours. The quarterbacks looked great. Terry looked great, and the Redskins defense. Man, we are from DC. How many times are we going to call them the Redskins this year? That
Uh,
should be like an over under. There's going to be civic groups mad at us. The
I,
Washington football team.
I mean, I do it all the time. I mean, we spent what last 35 years calling them that. It's part of
I'm a
it.
little older than that.
Well, yeah, but I didn't start watching football until I was probably 5, 6, 7. But like I said, I've been calling them that forever, and it's gonna be hard for me not to call them that. But
It'll be easier when we have an actual something to
actual
call them.
name.
It's like, okay, the Red Wolves. Or, I mean, the Wizards was weird to change to, but we got there. So now we're going to head into some of our last minute notes to get us ready. Like the last part of the show really is not so much about Thursday. We end up talking too much on Thursday because they've been
Yeah.
decent games. Luckily, next week the Texans play, so that should be okay. And Sam Darnold plays, so it's just going to stink. But we're heading into the week with some last minute notes, and then we'll have some starter tips for you as you go into the week. First off, we're looking at the 49ers backfield.
Yeah, that's a disaster. Because they said Trey Sermon was active today, so he's probably going to play. Well, he's going to play. I mean, honestly, I think the reason he didn't play last week was because him and Damian Harris are pretty much the exact same running back.
Hmm.
Um, you can't, you really can't start four. There's no need for bringing in four running backs that are going to start. So if you got Raheem Mostert as your number one, and then those other two guys that are able to play on special teams and do multiple things, and now that Mostert is out, Sermon jumps in as that guy, and it just makes it very hard to even want to start. What's the guy's name?
Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, it makes it really scary because I know a lot of people paid a lot of fab for him. I know in two of our leagues, our boy Fadley dropped $100, and he dropped $100 in your fantasy nerds, and also in one of my home leagues.
Yeah.
He took him from both of me. I mean, I was offering a lot of money too, but he outbid me.
Yeah.
But
That was a lot of money, man.
But like I said, you're always trying to find that running back. But like Trey Sermon coming in, he's got. I think there was had to be some kind of like Shanahan was mad at him or something like he just did something wrong, and then he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna set you this week. Same thing you did with IU, because like they must have did something bad. He's like, this is your punishment. We're gonna get you back in the offense, because that's the same thing they said with IU. He's gonna be the starter this week.
Yeah.
But like it'd be hard for me to start any of those 49ers running backs this week. If I can get away without starting one, I probably would.
Yeah. But the problem is, how do you set Mitchell after last week? I'm starting him in a couple
Yeah.
places because I have to. I've got to start because I have to, because I don't want to sit there and be last week. I just watched him score points and points and points and points. The sneaky name in there is not on Johnson, as much as I love him. It is
Mike,
Hasty.
yeah, I'm not too high. I'm not too high on him. I mean, he might get a carry here and there. He might get that lucky play, but he's not. I don't see him getting more than three or four carries. Maybe a pass
Well,
here and there.
the carries aren't going to be where he's going to make his cash. He's he might have got the eye if his one catch was 15 yards last week, and there's been some talk with Mitchell getting all the rushing work. Is Hasty gonna? Are they gonna use him as that scat back role? Because obviously they don't want to throw to Mitchell. I heard one saying that Sermon and Mitchell are very similar. So if one of them is going to get some play there, maybe they pass to Hasty. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
who knows? Nope. I mean, that's like I said. It's a crapshoot. I mean, if you're gonna start one, good luck. You just never know. But it's kind of like same thing that's happening in the Ravens backfield too. Like I said, Tyson Williams played really well in the first half last week. 9 carries, 56 yards. And then the second half they go away from it. Bring in Latavius Murray, gets 10 carries for 28 yards. Uh, like who would you rather start? I mean, Tyson Williams looked good. He's out there running around. Got showed some burst, and then Murray comes in and just plods it down the field. I mean, I don't understand how coaches see football. I just do not
yeah.
get it. I mean, I know they don't play fantasy. We're just looking at it from
Yeah, but
one
can
view
you do
here. But
math? Can you do math? Basic math. Last time I checked, 2.8 isn't good. So
no,
if you're
not at
averaging
all.
2.8 a carry and you're 31 years old, as opposed to Tyson Williams, he only averaged 7.2 a carry, and he is a lot younger. So basic math. I'm guessing Harbaugh just got hit in the head playing football when he was younger, really hard, and CTE's kicking in. So he said, I'm going to go with the guy that isn't as good and is old.
Yeah, they also said that they were going to give some carries to Devonta Freeman too. I'm like, what are we doing here? It just like I said, it just makes zero sense to me. Guess that's why I'm not a coach. I'll just sit here and play one from the sideline. But you know, who knows? Speaking of troubles, I mean, Josh Jacobs. So,
Everything is wrong with that
so
man.
I get an alert earlier this week. Josh Jacobs is, you know, uh, was going on. I can't think of the word right now.
Questionable, wasn't he, at that point?
But yeah, he was questionable, and then in the parentheses it said everything. Like what? What does everything consist of? I mean, he's got two bad legs, and he got a bad back. Like
his
what are we
toenail
doing?
tickles. you know.
What are they doing out there to this guy? I mean, what kind of punishment they putting him on?
Really, what it shows me is they have really bad team doctors that they can't really say what it is because they're not sure. So, players beware. If you would play for the Las Vegas Raiders, they don't know what's wrong with you. Just run and hope it doesn't hurt too bad. But all jokes aside, he right before we recorded here, we record on Friday nights for our Saturday morning. He's out. Nope, he's not playing. And right before us, actually, what was happening is Peyton Barber, yes, that same Peyton Barber, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quasi player, Washington football team player. Notice I'm not saying star anywhere here. Is now the starter over Kenyon
Kenyon Drake.
Drake.
Yeah, that's. I'll just stay away from that whole backfield. I wouldn't go nowhere near it.
But John Gruden's smarter than us. This should work,
I,
right?
I mean, I used to think that. I used to be a John, but I'm kind of like I'm just like, what's going on down there, man? Just do a better
It's
job.
good. It just for me, it just means my boy Waller's going to catch a bunch more passes,
More
and we're going to
targets.
go from there. So
Maybe give a
there's
few more targets to Brian Edwards down there too. And
well, only if it's the last 4 minutes of the game.
like,
But we're looking at the schedule for week 2, and there's going to be a lot, in my humble opinion, a lot of just teams getting obliterated. I think the Jags get obliterated. I think the Colts get obliterated. I think the Texans actually get obliterated by the Browns. I could see maybe the Panthers getting obliterated by the Saints, as good as the Saints played last
that
week. I
might.
mean, they obliterated the Packers. The Lions are definitely getting obliterated. Like it's going to be. I'm hoping NFL it's supposed to be competitive balance, but one team, the Colts, I'm thinking are getting obliterated because all of their top 2 receivers on paper are on the injury report. So is it Pascal's week to do it again? Is he the new
I
man?
I mean, maybe. I mean, this like even last year, he was like that only wide receiver that would pop in a game. They'd have solid. Like these other guys would have like a solid game here, a solid game there, but Pascal would always be the one that had that blow up game. He'd have more like ceiling games than anybody else. But I mean, if he's the only one they're throwing to, I mean, I'm really hoping Pittman plays and does something. I'm really got my hopes high on that guy,
Yeah,
but
it's the
it's just
Rams. So,
yeah,
and good
be a lot of
luck.
money.
You got mad at me earlier because we were looking at guys not to start, and I was going to say Jonathan Taylor because of that Rams line, but you're going to start him. But
Yeah,
don't expect a lot is what you got to do this week. Naheem
yeah, it's
Hines.
just
If you start anybody on the Colts, I say start Naheem Hines. That's it.
yeah, that is true because they're probably going to get behind early, and they're going to need to throw a lot. And we all know Naheem Hines got paid to catch the ball, so
But they did. I mean, last week they passed to Taylor, so maybe I'm wrong on. I mean, you're gonna play him. Maybe I'm wrong on what his output will be because they both did get a handful of catches when they were getting beat up by the Seahawks early and often. So let's see.
it is the NFL. So you just from week to week, teams can look good, teams can look bad. So hopefully they can find some way to make it competitive.
So, but yeah, we're moving on to the last part of our show here for you as we're getting ready for week 2 is starts or tips of the week. So we're just going to sort of speed through a couple of starts or tips or guys we know to play. My first one is super simple. Play all your Packers, period. Play all your Packers. They're mad. They're angry. Aaron Rodgers, we know, is a vindictive man. And the brunt of his punishment is going to be the Lions. Play Rodgers, especially. Play Adams, especially. If you want to flip a coin, maybe play some MVS. Good luck.
Good luck.
Maybe some Tanyan will probably get a touchdown. Just play your Packers. That's all I got to say this week.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers gonna come out with a vengeance to try to make up for last week. Maybe last week he was just trying to prove a point. Get it out of the way. But yeah, my guys he's been in the doghouse a little bit this week. It's kind of been rumors that he might be losing some of his work. And I'm going with Damian Harris to start this week. He had 23 carries, 100 yards. He did have that fumble. Now, granted, it was a very crucial fumble, a very bad part of the game. They were driving
That was
down
a
to
great
win.
fumble. I don't know what you're talking about.
And like I said, he doesn't fumble that they win. We all know Belichick can hold grudges. But Ramondre Stevenson fumbled. James White's not really a that running back. I don't see J.J. Taylor jumping up and taking over, even though that sounds like something Belichick would do. But like I said, Harris played well last week, so I'm still starting him with confidence. 15 to 20 carries. He even caught 2 passes. So I mean, solid RB2. I'm still confident with Damian Harris's work this week.
It's not a bad call at all. thinking the Broncos are going to look good this week. The Broncos have they looked good last week, and then this week they Teddy B is killing it. Jerry Judy is out, which is a big key for me. And they're playing the Jaguars. I mean, really, the Jaguars, they are supposed to be a little better with Trevor Lawrence, but they look putrid. The Texans obliterated them. The Broncos lost Judy, and who's going to step in for Jerry Judy? Sadly, I don't think it's going to be Sutton as much as I want it to be. It's going to be Noah Fant. Noah Fant was neck and neck with Judy on targets last week and receptions, and I think he's going to be the one that continues to grow. We talked previous to the show. Tim Patrick is going to grow, but as you said, who wants to start Tim Patrick and who will start Tim Patrick? You got to be in. It's got to be a deep starting lineup that you're starting him in a 14-team league possibly, or just one where you start 12 people, 11, 12 people. So possibly in our dynasty league with larger starts is where you might start Patrick. But I would start Fant. I would start Teddy B.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay right there with the Broncos, and I'm not gonna do a start. I'm gonna do a set, and I think I'm gonna set Cortland Sutton. I just don't think he's back yet. He only had the 3 targets last week. Just 1 reception, 14 yards. Maybe he's in that same boat with Saquon Barkley. Maybe you should just give him another week or two, just to see where he's at, because one catch for 14 yards is going to really really hurt you when you're expecting
It does.
this guy to
It
be a
does.
wide receiver too. So I'm just going to stay away from him this week. I'm going to bench him. If he plays well, I mean, I'll just have to take the L. But hopefully you got somebody on your bench that you can start over him. So honestly, I may start Tim Patrick over Cortland Sutton this week if I had that option. If I was able to pick him up on the waiver wire, I might. You know what? I think I might go that route.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you one bit. I do know that 1 for 14 is painful. I watched it happen
Yeah.
twice, and it hurt me. I'm gonna do something to make you proud. DJ Chark, everybody knows I'm a Chenault guy, but he had 12 targets last week.
Yeah.
They're getting killed, so maybe that's why. But if you have 12 targets and you still only catch 3, but you have 86 and a touchdown, goodness gracious, is he better than CD Lamb at this point?
I,
Look at
would-
those.
I,
Look at the CD Lamb caught 7 of he caught half his targets. He caught a quarter of his targets, had a touchdown and 86 yards. DJ Chark might be better than CD Lamb. I'm just throwing things out there based upon numbers. This
yeah, you're throwing crap against the wall. See if it sticks right there. But that's
it's
some
stuck to the
crazy
wall of my
talk.
room.
But yeah, I mean, 12 targets is a lot. Now, I think most of those targets came at the end of the game when they was just trying to make it respectable. But we could see that a lot from Jacksonville. I mean, they're probably going to be down a lot, and they're just going to have to throw the ball all over the place. And you know, garbage time counts just as much as those first quarter points. So whether those 3 catches for 86 yards comes in the first quarter or the fourth quarter, they all count the same. I'll take them anyway. I can get them.
Yup, they are looking magnificent. Set of the week. I am looking at the Tennessee passing game. Except you're not going to set AJ Brown, obviously. We talked before. There's certain studs. Even though he didn't look super great last week, he got you enough to suffice you.
Yeah,
But
lucky
they
he got
looked,
that touchdown. Lucky he got that
yeah,
touchdown.
he got that touchdown, but they still looked flat. They're playing the Seahawks, who always have a decent secondary, and unless they really right the ship, and it's in Seattle, the Titans, a team that I thought could be contending for a Super Bowl, could start the season 0-2. So I love Tannehill, but if I don't have him anywhere, I would probably sit him. Julio Jones, probably sit him. You're not sitting AJ Brown. I wouldn't try to get cute and play Ferkser or something like that, but I think Tennessee's setting this week for me.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't look like the same Tennessee offense that they have been. Now, like I said, they did lose their offensive coordinator, so I'm pretty sure that helps. That's making a big difference. They just didn't look the same, and I gotta agree. I mean, I've got to make the choice between Tannehill and Jameis Winston. Think I might go with Winston. Feel like he might be a little safer at this point. Not really sure what I'm going to get out of Tennessee. At least with Sean Payton there, I know the coach. I know the history that usually quarterbacks play there. They play well. I think I might actually bench Tannehill and go with Winston this week. I agree
Wow.
with you. I agree with
Well,
you on that one.
as we close out for the week, I want to ask you a question about what I believe is going to be the absolute worst game of the week. So you're not going to start your Falcons. I mean, obviously you're going to start Calvin Ridley because he's amazing. You're going to start
Kyle
I'm going to start
Pitts.
Calvin Ridley. You're going to start Kyle Pitts because you're foolish. People are gonna people are gonna, if they're smart, bench Mike Davis because he's getting the numbers, but they're playing the best team of the year. The only team for the last decade that concerns me with my Miami Dolphins' perfect record. So here's the question I have for you: which Tampa pass catcher is gonna have the best week?
I mean, that's. I mean, it's. I feel like it's going to come down between Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin. I think that's
I didn't say which
Brady's.
two. I said which one. Of course, it's between those
I'm
two.
working on it. I got you. You're just popping this on me right now. This wasn't a
Surprise.
pre-show. This wasn't a pre-show question. I'm talking my way through it. Um, I think I'm about to go with Godwin because I think Godwin's going to have a better game. I think Godwin's a more consistent target. He's like that. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but I think
Consistent, yeah.
I like it. Yeah. So I think Antonio Brown's more that he'll be good if he gets that deep pass like he did that last week. He got that deep bomb, really put him over the top. But I think uh Godwin is just going to be more consistent, more even. I think he's going to get his touchdowns and yards. I think Antonio Brown's more of a boomer bust type guy, but I think they're both going to be play great. I'm not too worried about Mike Evans. He might get a touchdown in like 7 yards or something like that. Um, Maybe I don't know if you consider Gronk part of that
Yeah,
crew,
I do.
but like I said, I think I'm still going to stick with Godwin. I like Godwin a whole lot. I think he's the best receiver out there right now.
Wow.
Who are you starting?
I'm on the AB train. AB, as we're talking, we were running through it last weekend. He's got Tom Brady's trusts, but he's throwing to Godwin like no tomorrow. But AB just puts up that giant stat line, so I think Brady just feels sorry. He's like, I can't give them all to AB. I guess I got to give to the other guys. So good. You're right. They're both going to be studs. They're both going to have a great week. But I'll hit to AB just to be contrary, to be the contrarian to your Chris Godwin. I have both, and I'm starting both.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got them both too, and I'm starting them both. Just a shout out to the Bourbon Bowl out there if anybody's listening. AB is still available if you want to, if you want to come make a price for him. He's still out there. I'm still willing to trade him
I'm
before he
out of
gets
draft
too
picks.
before he gets too out of control and puts up another 125 yards and a touchdown. Then he's just going to be unobtainable.
Well, JJ Wang, it's time for
It,
week
it
two.
it is time. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. But
Take us out of here.
yeah, so like I said earlier in the week, don't reach on these guys. Just feel it out. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too cute. Just trust yourself and just trust your process.